everyone. I'm Kathy Bile. I'm hoping you can hear me. You can hear me? Yes. Thumbs up, M. I can only see you, M. I can't see
You
myself.
sound
So
good
if
to
you want to
me.
put me on the thing, whatever. Yes, I'm Kathy Bile. I'm with the Public Benefits Studio. I've been with the studio, I think a little over a year, and with TTS for about 2 years. And prior to that, was working with the state of Minnesota in many different positions and for many years, including several years in the state's continuous improvement office. So I definitely have a passion for performance measurement and improvement. So performance measurements, there's a lot of terms involved. We might call it outcome tracking, impact tracking, even just gathering feedback. Evaluation can mean sometimes more detailed program evaluation. It's a whole discipline. But really, for today, the goal is to tell a story. So, why are you texting? What story do you want to tell, and who do you need to tell it to? So, as I was looking at those responses come in, even though the question we asked was about a problem, I noticed a lot of you talked about your goals in texting. You said you were texting in order to reduce anxiety, in order to keep a certain group informed. So you're already getting towards that why and the story that you want to tell. So if you start with the end in mind, with that story that you want to tell, we've got some uh, articles here which really dig into the more real scientific evaluation and say, evidence based. But essentially, you want to be able to say, we texted people and it helped them to do X. Maybe it helped us to do Y or do Y better. So you want to start by thinking about what does success look like for you, and then you can measure to see if you've gotten there. And so again, telling that story is not just about, oh, we want to do X, did we do it? There's actually several reasons. I would say that's the most important. Um, but you measure performance because you have goals. Go on to the next one. So, yeah, are you reaching your goals? So, you might not have a particular problem like, oh, some XYZ is really a problem that we need to fix, but you might have a goal of increasing recertification rates. Are you um, increasing those? What improvements make the most sense to your clients or participants? Sometimes those feedback, I think somebody talked about a survey or client feedback, even just getting information from your population. What do they need? What are their concerns? And getting that information helps you know if you're responding to that. Again, you have limited resources, I assume. I mean, please raise your hand if you have unlimited resources. But I'm assuming, like all of us, you have limited resources. You have limited time. And texting is not free. Even if you are not spending any money on it, you are spending time and meetings, hours, reviews in order to text. So hopefully the least you can do is try to say, was our texting successful? So you want to spend time on things that are working, and you want to say, you know what, we want to let go of things that aren't working. Sometimes in government, we don't do a great job of that. So I highly encourage you to say if something's not working, that is important information you should use to improve, turn to something else, find something that does work. And so hopefully you do have a desire to improve and iterate and change if your approach isn't working. So overall, I just want to emphasize your time, your effort, they have value. Value your own time and effort, the time and effort of your teams by spending them on things that work. And the only way to know if something is working is at some level to measure it, to have, there is a gut level measurement. You might say, I feel like it's working. We want to get you at least one step above that. So Was there a question or comment? So how do we determine if your program is working? Well, we first need to define what working means. What do we mean it's working? And so this, again, it feels circular, but I really want to emphasize the goals are the most important thing here. So what is working for you? Again, I can even think back to what people posted. You know, you want people to feel less anxiety. You want people to have information. What do you want them to do? Is there something you want them to do with that information? It's fine if it's just about that feeling and improved awareness, but is there an action that you want them to take? As Em said at the beginning, you know, we know that sharing important updates is a really great use case for text or alerts. I need to do something. What are those things that you want people to do? Is there more than one step? You want them to know something, and then with that knowledge, you want them to take another step, maybe another step. And why do you want them to do that? You know, do you want them to, as you said, you know, get access to a particular set of benefits? Do you want them to take that action also because it will improve efficiency for your program? Maybe them taking that action will prevent you from needing to, or your staff from needing to make multiple phone calls. You can focus on the work you really need to focus on rather than sending reminders to people. And so if you're already trying to achieve these outcomes outside of texting, what do you want to be different because you are texting? So that's a key piece. The goals are all laudable. If you're already trying to achieve those goals, say you're trying to inform SNAP recipients to recertify with letters. Are you trying to increase the recertification rate by sending the texts? That's something that you want to focus on. Sometimes a text is a totally new way, sometimes with like job applicants, keeping people informed. Maybe you didn't really have any way to keep people informed through the process, so that might not apply in terms of how you kept people informed. But often you're trying to change something. You're trying to increase, decrease, etc. So that takes us, we start with goals and document that, think about that with our team, and we move on to indicators. How might we know that the recipients of the text did what we hoped they would do, felt what we hope they will feel? What are the mechanisms that we have for getting that feedback, for getting that data? It really depends. This is definitely an it depends situation. What you want them to do or feel, where that data is going to be, how you can collect it, if it does exist somewhere, or if you have to go out and get it. But documenting it all, brainstorming, thinking through how might we know that people have taken this action, felt this feeling, etc. And then again, for your outcomes that you hope to achieve, how might you know that, you know, you've saved staff time? How might you know that you've increased recertification rates, etc.? And that takes us to our whole kind of picture of your, what we like to refer to as your texting hypothesis. So you've got a hypothesis. If we do X, in this case, if we send text messages to blah, 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 our audience, the people we text will do Y. So there's an action we want them to take, or in some cases, you know, the people we text will feel more respected, will feel more informed, etc. And subsequently, we will get a improved acceptance rate for jobs. You know, people will follow through on jobs we've offered them. We will have improved recertification rates. And we will know this because we will see that recertification rates increase. We will know this because we will gather feedback from folks who received the text and perhaps from folks who did not receive the text, and we can compare these. So as I say, comparison is important if you're trying, again, to say, we are texting because we think it will help us do something better. We hope that it will help us to be more efficient. And so in order to make that measurement of the change, you need to think about baselines or control data. And so if any of your goals involve that change, more, less, fewer, faster, you need something to compare it to. If you say, hey, the people we texted responded, renewed their coverage, 80% of them renewed their coverage. That's great. But the question is that better? Is it worse? Has it been a change for you? Again, going back to your goals, what were you hoping for? And in some cases, it's really important to think about, well, the goals. For the EBT skimming or potential fraud alert for a card, anybody who gets that and takes action, and this is kind of, it's from our use case, excuse me, but even just one person taking action quickly on that may prevent their benefits from getting stolen, may prevent the state from needing to, request the redelivery of those funds, those benefits from the federal government. It could make a lot of things more efficient. So it's not necessarily you need to get to high percentages. You need to get to, even a huge change, but being able to document the impact and the difference from where you were before or where you are without texting to where you are with texting. And yeah, the hypothesis is that it will help, it will make things better. But I really want to emphasize, if it doesn't, that's important information, because then you say, it's something we tried. Or maybe this language in a text isn't really effective. Maybe we should try different language. So don't, it can feel like, oh, we've failed. Our hypothesis has failed. But our hypothesis is just, it's an experiment. It's saying we think this will work. Once you know it works, then you can put more resources into it. You can make it even better. But we really, because of those limited resources, start small, measure your results, and then dig in and put more resources into it. It's so helpful to have those results for, again, it's telling your story, not just because it makes you feel good, it's because it helps to make the case for texting for your program, for your larger program, for your leadership who might need to defend it, for you who might need to defend it to your leadership or ask for more resources around it. So yeah, asking, telling the story of your texting, starting with your goals, thinking about how you might know if you're achieving your goals, which probably include people doing or feeling something, how you might get that information, how you might know whether you're achieving your desired outcomes from that is how we recommend thinking about this for a texting campaign. So it's kind of a Mad Libs fill in the blank that all starts with those goals.